Hey, folks, thank you for stopping by Kaiser's Castle. Today, I have a brother of mine on. I'm going to play a bit from Barack Obama where he's gaslighting and also projecting what he did and trying to say Trump's doing the same thing. It's just silliness, right? But it did cost Michael Hastings his life, and Cheryl Atkinson was investigated, and also um, she even got done through Lois Lerner. Everybody remembers how Obama weaponized the IRS. Before I bring my guest on, you need to hear this. He's heard it. I'm not ambushing him. I'm asking his opinions, and I want his opinions, but I'm about to play this, and it's from, by the way, that song is It's Game Time. The only reason I use that is because Axion Ghost, my intro song, when I use any of them, or any of my songs, comes from him because he's given me permission to do it. Please look him up on YouTube. Axion Ghost. And it's Game Time. And those of you who are hip to PSN radio, you know that on Castle Talk Radio, I use Lemmy, i.e., Mutterhead's song, The Game. That's what I would prefer to use, but unfortunately, I don't have the licensing. PSN does. And with that being said, I'm going to play you this little excerpt from Glenn Beck's program just last night. And when I heard it, I was like, you piece of shit. And that's all I'll say on that.
Has been this sense over the last several years that literally anything goes and is justified in order to get power. And you know, that's not unique to the United States. There are strongmen and dictators around the world who think that I can do anything to stay in power. I can kill people. I can throw them in jail. I can run phony elections. I can suppress journalists. But that's not who we're supposed to be. Mm-hmm. Kind of funny how he projects that, where he can kill people. Remember, he killed a civilian, not the father, but the son, who was born in Colorado, killed him in the Middle East. You can stay in power. That's what he tried to do with Hillary, the Hildebeest. And he's trying to do with his bitch boy Biden at this point. And he also killed Brian Terry with the, when I was talking about projection and when I was talking about gaslighting, do you not remember Fast and Furious? Or Gunwalker, however you want to remember it. It only came to light because of whistleblowers. And guess what? He didn't have a real good record on whistleblowers. The best thing Trump could do, honestly, I'm saying this out loud, he needs to pardon Julian Assange from WikiLeaks. And he also needs to pardon, and I mean this in full respect, Edward Snowden. And most of you who have been on my page for a long time know I've never been a fan of either of them. But honestly, they did try to get the truth out. Where does whistleblowing stop? I mean, he went after Michael Hastings and actually killed him in the U.S. If you doubt me, just look at how he died. And he went after Cheryl Atkinson, and she can verify, and she has many times, how they weaponized, and we all remember this, the whistleblower from Lois Lerner is the woman who went after, because she was in charge of the IRS under Obama, and
Yet he's saying Trump's done that. I don't think I've heard of any of that happening. What's your thoughts on that there, Kimmy? Because, surprise, surprise, I'm bringing in a guy that is way smarter than me. I've given him the information, and I definitely want his opinions on this. Your thoughts, brother?
Well, he did like his all 8 years. I'm talking about Obama. He did. He had wars, drone wars, and so on. And I mean, the journalist killing. It's not even the worst he did. It was also the Benghazi situation. He's also in it on that with Hillary together, where troops got killed and the ambassador. He killed like in the Middle East. He droned on a wedding from just regular people. Killed like the whole family, like 100 people.
Yep.
And then just said sorry, like where was the left there, like it's just double standards all the time. And you can really compare Obama to Trump, and you see that with Trump the bottle is empty. With Obama the bottle is almost 2 bottles already, like completely full of shit, So that's my thoughts on that. And of course he's a murderer, and of course he tried to smear everyone and try to get his way done and gaslight wherever he can. I mean, like this guy is a pathetic a liar and a CIA agent as his grandfather is, and he maybe looks, like looks doesn't matter, like he comes from a bloodline that is known for doing that. So yeah, that fucker gets what he gets to deserve in the future. I mean, like I'm sure the game is on, and as you said, like Snowden should get pardoned. I guess they will do that. Also with Julian Assange, but his case is kind of complicated because um, because those allegations, they are not up anymore, like and it was debunked, and those 2 women who put this on him, I mean they got threatened or something that they do this. So it's totally off the table right now. So the British government is holding him back because same interest like the Dems have with it. So they're together in it with it, with their deep state kind of old school controlling media and politics. And I don't know. Maybe if Trump can get him free, I would see this as absolutely, and I have no question that he will let him free if he can or if he has a chance. But I don't see the Brits giving him away. Like they took him. So basically the Dems have him. That's my thought on all this right now.
I get where you're coming from, but the reason why they're holding them, it's just like a lot of people don't want to talk about Germany and Europe. They're not really free. None of these countries are. They're about to be free because when Biden does tank the U.S. economy, it's going to affect the bankers. And that's a more important thought that you already know, and we both know, is going to be a fait accompli. It's kind of sad, but this is where we're at in the current year, 2020. 2021 Folks, if Trump does not fight this, you are about to live in a prison camp of your own home. And your thoughts, actually, I really want your thoughts because both you and I have talked about this, the rise of suicides, the rise of uh, alcoholism, of drug overdoses. You know, these are deaths that far surpass, and they're not even talking about them. And spousal abuse or spousal killings. These are things that far surpass the amount of people we're saving with these damn lockdowns. And honestly, from a European perspective, I'd love to hear what you have to say on that, brother. Your thoughts?
Well, the lockdown, like the lockdown puts people like in kind of prison situation, and most people who haven't been, um, like locked away or had depression or were once in the military or in jail or in any hard circumstances, they're not used to that, and this situation is messing with their head because they are not in the war mode. I can see that people don't know what it is. Like the last war here was 75 years ago, right? So everyone is dead, and maybe some stories survived, but they don't know what means horror. So and right now, um, it's a good and a bad thing, but right now it's a bad thing because they they get weak, so they are scared, and then they're getting put violence at home, with their wives, or they frustrated, or they see no reason to go out anymore or to live anymore and have suicide. So all these things, like the whole lockdown, um, um, motivates people to destroy themselves, like in different styles. And yeah, as you can see, like in the Spanish flu, at the end of the Spanish flu, the healthy the ones that had the Spanish flu, had to help those who wear the mask. So the mask really really hurts people, So when they're having these things on every day, and many people that do, I never do. I only do when I have to go in to buy groceries, and then I just take it down, and but that's not more than like 20 minutes or so, and most of them have it permanently on. And yeah, there will be like there will be much more um, victims of this lockdown than as of the sickness. The lockdown is the sickness, all this crazy shit thing is the sickness. They try to kill off the old ones, to destroy the economy, to I don't know, to yeah, to just kill, destroy, and steal. That's the whole plan. And they just, it's a psyop, so they just implement all these kind of rules. They're not even laws, they're rules. So, and people go along with it, and um, they they are collapsing under these rules, and that's their goal. So um, what if you ask me what to do, is like ignoring the fact, like ignoring what they say and what they do. So just try to survive, like don't wear a mask, don't watch too much negativity on television. I also like turn off like many notifications right now because I can't handle it anymore. And what you can do also is like yeah, like you said, like spread positivity, do something you like, you know, like forget all these things because this COVID thing, um, it's a it's an empty gun. It's an empty gun. It's a psyop to kill yourself. You know, they want to kill your mind with it, and don't let them.
Exactly. Your compliance means acquiescence, means you're acquiescing to their dictates. And unfortunately, I never thought I'd say this, and I'm going to be very frank on my first show that I'm talking about this. Um, Governor Mike DeWine in my state of Ohio, where Kaiser's Castle is located, where you guys are all sitting on my big orange couch, grabbing your coffee, tea, soda, or adult libation. That's fine. What I do know is that he had 4 guaranteed votes from the House of Kaiser. And he no longer does. And it's because it's not this false dichotomy everybody has. They keep talking about it, where it's a left-right paradigm. I don't believe in it. It's, folks, I've said this numerous times on my page. I'm going to say it again. Put your arms out, your right arm out, straight from your shoulder, and your left arm out. And then you touch your fingertips over your head. It's circular. The far right, what is that they say? The worst far right. It's National Socialist German Workers' Party. The National Socialist Deutsches Arbeiterpartei. That is what you're looking at. And then where they meet, you have Stalinism. The most people ever killed comes where your fingertips meet. It is not the left-right paradigm. You have the neo-progs, neo-progressives, and the neo-cons, neo-conservatives. Both of them want mass war, mass killing, mass deaths. They have an agenda. It's not your agenda, folks. And if you doubt me, just do a little research. Because notice, Mike DeWine, I'll tell you why he had 4 guaranteed votes. I'm going to be very honest. I think it's the first time I've ever said. He was a representative in our state house of the state of Ohio. And he remembered because I talked with him one time after this happened. Years later, my mother was dead. She died in 2006 from cancer, oat straw cancer. And the funny thing is, I was like in tears about it. You know, I was like, thank you. He actually drove to my mother's trailer. Yeah, I'm trailer trash. We're all good with that, babe. What I'll tell you is, he drove there and gave her an Ohio State flag, flew over to State House of Ohio. And I flew it on my whip antenna, and everybody in the Gulf War remembers that Ohio flag that was on my whip antenna of my Jeep Cherokee. And the most hilarious thing about it is I gave him my vote throughout all of his processes of ascension. It was a no-brainer. Well, he proved himself to be a neocon because he even went on TV with MSNBC, if memory serves, yesterday, and saying Trump should just acquiesce. Look, acquiescence is why we're here. You're not acting. You're not doing your part by saying no. Not just no, hell no. I will not comply. There is that sense in America, and I have not complied, nor will I. And that's the important part, is we don't comply. When I walk into, unfortunately, Kimmy is not from the same country we are. But when I walk in and I have my inhaler and I have COPD from the Gulf War, by the way, thank you, U.S. government. Compliments to you. When I walk in and they say, well, you have to have a mask on, sorry, I can't. It's basically uh, an act that was put out, and actually it helps you, and it's the Americans with Disabilities Act. They can't force you, or you can sue them for 75 to 150,000 bucks. Get the come up. Sue those stores that want to make you put. They're afraid of a $6,000 fine. Fuck them. You take them for everything. You own their stores, and I mean that. This is how you have to be. This is fifth generational warfare we're in right now. Your thoughts on what I just said, Kimmy?
Well, I don't know much about that because, like, yeah, I, I haven't been like I haven't been in the states military at all. So, but yeah, you're totally right. I mean, like, yeah, you have to stand up right now for what is right, like no matter what, like it's not like it's just pure survivability and pure like patriotism right now to not comply, and you shouldn't do that. Stand for what is right and not for what people think you should do, like just do what is right. And that's my thoughts on that and your situation.
Yeah, Kimmy. Basically, what you're saying is, honestly, your compliance is acquiescence. And same thing in Europe. We have brothers all over the planet that understand what this is. This is a power grab. And honestly, did you notice this or not? You remember, what was that called? I'm mind dumping it now. There was a time where the propaganda put it out that you had to what was it called? Trying to think. It's not just 2030. It's not Agenda 2030. It was the Great Reset. Yeah, that was up until yesterday. And for some reason, Kimmy, I know you know about this, and I want you to give a nice dissertation on it. The Great Reset, they pulled that whole page down. And remember, that was done by, and people think it's conspiracy theory. It's not. They can't. That's
WEF.
right. Yeah. And guess what?
Yeah.
You type that in now, page not found. They pulled it. Did you know that, Kimmy?
Yeah, they pulled it. Yeah, they pulled it. But he has a book out, Klaus Schwab. Everyone can buy it. Book's called The Great Reset. I mean, there's tons and tons of material. I mean, that was the topic from last year in the World Economic Forum in Davos in Switzerland. Yeah, so I guess that's the plan, and they also have like a back plan. Like you always see like multiple layers of of plan Bs, or advanced plans after that and so on. I guess the Great Reset was a long time in the making. When they announced it, they already had everything in place what they want to do. And the Reset is nothing else than it's basically communism. It's a new kind of way, new fascist communism. So nobody owes everything in 2030, and yeah, you're basically just a number in your government that yeah can apply on those rules and laws they implement or not. So that is for this topic. And yeah, sometimes I see the MSM is talking about he said it, he didn't say it, he said it, he didn't say it. So it's back and forth and back and forth, and everyone knows it. Like it's so blatant. And I don't know. I think they just want to confuse people. Like that when you are at home and you have some news that are mainstream, and you show that to your, I don't know, family or something, they don't believe you because they turn on the television and the television says something one day, and the next day he said, okay, we did a mistake. He said it, and they just want to put down some chaos around each other, So, but yeah, we know what's up. I mean, everyone should.
Well, there was an old song. You may or may not remember it, brother. The band was called CCP, and it was for the Soviet Union at the time. And the funny part about this is the song was called United States of Europe. And they achieved that, except people fail to remember that dream of Europa was actually designed by the Nazis and the Soviets also wanted that same dream. And yet, when you look at who leads, and this is something good for you to opine in on, and I do want your truthful opinion on how Brussels is working now, because a lot of folks fail to remember. I'm using a knife hand, folks, right now. And I have on the screen the old meeting. It's between a couple museums, and it's down the road from Checkpoint Charlie, where I used to stand. See, folks, that's where East Germans, the U.S., France, the U.K., and the Soviet Union used to meet in the Federal Republic of Germany to discuss shit. And in Brussels, Belgium, not very far from where they now have the EU headquarters, is shaped the Supreme Headquarters, Allied Protection of Europe. And I also was there. See, these are the things. They're accidental. I'm like fucking Forrest Gump. I just run into people. And I run into places and things. But see, the problem is, I'm not dead yet. I still have a fucking memory. And I know how this shit went back in the day. And Kimmy is the same way. And so is everybody I've had on my show. We do have an institutional memory. And I think, honestly, and I want your thoughts on this also, I think they thought we were dead, or we would be quiet and compliant and not speak up. And honestly, I want your beautiful thoughts on this, because your thoughts are always super valuable, brother.
Yeah, I think like they just flood us, since the the wall came down with bullshit, like MTV, like bullshit, like talking about drugs and clothes and hip hop and nothing against hip hop or clothes or anything, but they just put us to a, in a consumer state that we are swimming in a kind of nice environment, right? So many of us forgot, and many people who lived in the West had no memories um, back at the Cold War and how it was, and I can remember that some stuff wasn't available and so on. People don't know that shit, like we couldn't get this and that, and I lived in the West, but and we always were afraid about bombs dropping and so on, and um, yeah, people are just not aware of this. Uh, basically, the world took their armor down, their weapons, their everything. They just applied to their life, and right now they forgot about it, or many didn't told their children right now. I mean, like people in my age should know it, but I see many people in my age, even though they knew the Cold War and so on, they don't care about everything. They just think this is kind of a new wave of being awake, but in a like the wrong awakening. Like kind of this future utopia awakening for to get like everyone gets like the same equal rights, and no woman did never had rights, but woman had perfect rights here. They had easier way to get jobs. By the way, where I live, it's it's fantasy land. It's not the truth they're telling, and it's poison they are throwing away on people since 30 years, right? Or since 31 years. So this is right now is coming to an end, and some people don't even know that stuff I'm talking about. They're not familiar with it. So yeah, they either they wake up right now and do what is right, or the system will get them sooner or later.
Exactly. They're not going to leave them alone. That's the fallacy of the last election. I will say this: I love how you brought up MTV, and you may not know this. Hopefully, you explore it, and everybody else on the boiler room. If you brought up MTV, Adam Curry, who was a host in the '80s of MTV, he has a show called No Agenda. And I also tell everybody to go to ACR, Alternative Current Radio. I say it in every podcast and I always link it. But on this one, I'll also say Adam Curry, No Agenda. He's been interviewed by Joe Rogan. Folks, he gets it. He does. It's like, I wish Adam Curry, I wish all of them, and he lives close to the people that I just spoke about. I wish everybody would get together and form a conglomeration and a federation of free voices to speak globally about reality. Because look, the thing you're living in right now, the media construct is fantasy land. It is not reality. Reality is rougher, tougher, and it's like me saying, "Ah, I'm a lesbian trapped in a man's body." I mean, in some ways we could say I have my tongue firmly in cheek. That's truth. But the reality is I'm a man. And so is Kimmy, so is Adam, so is everybody in the ACR that are men, and the women are women, and we know the difference. There's not 72 different sexes. That's the last time I counted, because I just got fed up by them, they, thee, them, all their bullshit. And that's my opinion. And it's about dehumanizing. The mask, folks, that mask is meant to dehumanize you. And I'll tell you this from my perspective as a military guy, having to wear a mask and do my job, and also having to put hoods on people. That's a reality. That really happened. This is not fantasy. This is reality, folks. And it's about dehumanization and also installing fear in people. And if you don't believe me, I can't help you. There's little psychological trips, and I feel bad for the kids coming up in this era, and I mean this full-heartedly. I hope not full like FOOL, but FULL, full-heartedly. I mean this full-heartedly. These children growing up where they're not getting the infants, they're not getting the physical, facial recognition of their mothers. We are raising a generation. This is going to be horrible. The last generation, barring my son, thank God I raised him right, has become snowflakes. Can you even imagine the kids that are coming up that haven't really seen their mother and father's face long enough to actually get a feel for their parents? And that's the basic part of learning. All communications, it's not just words. It's not just things we speak. It's about seeing people's faces. Do you think if you committed a crime, and I mean this, folks, you think about this. Do you think if you committed a crime and I'm investigating you or anybody else, they're going to say, yeah, keep your mask on while I talk to you? Nah, I want to see your face. I want to see what you're doing. I want to see any kind of thing that shows some sort of a lie. I want to see anything that shows truth. I want to see both things. And we're raising, with this group of kids for this year, you think about this, amplify the births around the U.S., Canada, Mexico, all these places that are locked down and everybody's masked up. Oh, you get a little time with your kid with no mask on, but you're so paranoid that you don't want to take it off to give it to your kid. Your infant's probably going to survive it more than you will. It's a flu. It's something that kills the old. And that brings me back to the death panels back during Clinton's first push for nationalized health care, and to the Emanuels, Rahm Emanuel and his brother, their push for socialized health care, where they have death panels, and everybody will say, well, that's disproven by Wiki. Listen to me, folks. If you haven't realized by now, the media is lying to you. They're telling you that he's in the office of president-elect. There is no such office. It's in dispute right now because Trump is pushing back because of Dominion voting systems. And guess where that comes by? Chavez's old regime. that Maduro now runs. Folks, you're being lied to. And they'll even say, no, that's fraudulent. No, it's real. And it's going to go to the courts. This is the natural way that we have. And if you doubt me, look to Bush v. Gore. Bush versus Gore. Your thoughts on that one there, Kimmy? All that little stuff that I touched on. If you want clarification, please let me know, brother.
So, I mean, we live in times that you cannot tell who's a friend or who's a foe. You cannot tell. But everyone, every media, everything is lying right now. So everything what is good is now bad, and everything what is bad is now good. So you live in an upside down world, you know. So you shouldn't trust those sources at all. They lied on so many things. They lied on any occasion. They took your hard-working money. They took everything from you, and they will. And they will take more from you. And it will never stop till they have everything. So, do you trust them? No. Do you do your own research? Yes. And even if you hear me, or you hear Kaiser, or you hear anyone else, you have to think about those things we said. You have to put them on the table and figure it out, what is true and what is a lie, what is good and what is not good. You cannot walk blindfolded around. These times are over. It's war times, ladies and gentlemen. It's war times. So you must put on your full armor and think about all those things. Digest what you can and always look for more information. Then you find the truth.
I agree. Put on your full armor of God, as it states in the Bible. And that's I will bring that up. You notice, folks, I don't touch much on religion, but I will say that. I'll also say you have to have faith in something real. And the real thing is your personal relationships. And notice how they're cutting into that this year. They're talking about, even our governor. You have to, of Ohio, Mike DeWine, we need to recall him. I hate saying that because he showed himself to be a good man at one time. But I believe now he's a total full-on neocon. It breaks my heart, honestly. What I'll say is, look at their fruits. What are they doing? Are they subjecting you? Or are they trying to make you be better than you are? And that's where the fruit is from the flower or the seed that you planted is truly shown. And you just can't fear it. You can't fear what's happening. You can't worry about what's happening. Honestly, you can't. Fear is something that you should have lost years ago. I can get emotional about shit. You're allowed to have your heart broken by people. That's just natural. But never put, I guess, here's the hard part about this, is putting all your trust in one person. I don't want your trust. I'm not a cult leader. A matter of fact, I want you to check everything Kimmy and I talk about. And I would tell everybody that. I want you to have fun. I want you to enjoy life. I don't want anything other than that. And fuck, I don't even charge you or even send you to my Patreon or something. This is not a moneymaker for me. A matter of fact, my wife gets pissed I make no money doing this. And that's okay. But as I've stated before in different shows, I didn't start this channel to make money. I started it so that my son and my grandchildren will have a record of Kaiser standing up. And that's kind of the point. And I think Kimmy's the same way in a lot of ways. And like he said, research it. You find out the truth yourself. Although they're trying to push everything off the internet so you can't really research it. Folks, it's out there. You'll find it. Go to archive.com and other places. You'll find it somewhere. Somebody screenshotted it and saved it. And these fuckers are not going to win. And that's the beautiful point of it. And your thoughts on that, man?
Well, I think right now it's all a big soup, and many things will come out right now, and some people will say they are good, they do good deeds, you know. You see also that they have good fruits, you know, their work is good, but sometimes also these guys can stab you in the back. I'm just saying that not to demotivate anyone, just to that you don't get shocked when it happens, you know, like, and there are many good people, many. Actually, I believe there are many more. I think there are more good people than bad people. So you can have faith, but yeah, don't get like demotivated by people who fake their good fruits and they aren't, you know. And yeah, but the first control point is when look what they not what they say, what they do, you know, and then look what's behind that again, so you can figure it out. So always test. That's the life, and you all can do it.
Well, I agree with that. I mean, sometimes people do things for reasons that nobody else may know. Having been that guy, you know, I've sacrificed a lot, but I don't really care about that. And nor am I trying to put myself on a petard to be like, oh my God, I'm such a victim. No, I'm not. I bought the ticket, took the ride, and I knew the consequences. And anybody that tries to sell something different, they're full of shit. And if they're not open to telling you what they did and try to tell you, it doesn't matter. You can smear me. Everybody says, well, I'll smear your reputation, which is cancel culture, which is also goes back to East Germany. That's why I've been showing a slideshow of East Germany. Different places. And places I remember. And the funny part about this is they had something called disintegration. You think this cancel culture is new. No, it's not. It was done by East Germany, except they called it disintegration. Disintegrating you from society. That was the whole point of the Stasi. And
they cut you off, right?
Yeah.
Of everything.
Yeah.
Of your friends, of your family, of your reputation.
Yeah.
and then you're alone. I mean, you can still say something. Maybe you're not in a gulag, but you're like, you can't buy, you can't sell, you can't see your friends. You're basically in a living prison.
Oh yeah, and there was a woman. Everybody needs to look up "Living Others' Lives." I think is the name of the film. I could be wrong on it. Living
Yeah,
Other.
it's yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. This is the Stasi movie. It's made by Germans.
Yes, and it's in German, but there are English subtitles, and there's also a German translation. Although they took the translation off YouTube, kind of interesting. And Glenn Beck gets one thing wrong when he goes to a book that was written by Cloward and Piven, and then he goes to another book that Hillary Clinton just loved. I'm mind dumping dude's name now, but it was Rules for Radical, Saul Alinsky, and those two books people should read because that's not new. In the U.S., it was new, but that was East German tactics. That's for real. If you doubt me, just look up cancel culture and see, you isolate the people, then you vilify them, and then you destroy them. That's what they did to Trump. Watch what the media did. The media walked hand in glove on Trump. I'm just giving that as an example of that person. Now, that person will probably, even if he doesn't become president again, he'll probably run again. He's not going to shut up. He's probably going to start a media company. And it won't be like Fox, because he's seen how Fox even flipped on him on this. And do you think Don Jr. is going to flip on his daddy when his daddy dies and he inherits that company? Oh, nah. So the info war, as Alex Jones said, and you guys have all seen my call-in, my only open call-in to Alex Jones, you've seen I disagreed with him on something. And he was able to say, yeah, I was right on certain things, and he was very open to criticism. I'm the same way. If not, I guarantee you one thing. Kimmy and I would not be friends, and nor would I be able to maintain any friendships in the boiler room. Because the boiler room, people will push on you. It's a tough room, but it's worth it because it makes what sharpens steel. It's steel. That's how you sharpen a piece of steel, with a harder steel, and the fires of adversity. And you shouldn't want a quiet, mellow life. You should want to be pushed on your thoughts, your ideas. It's a classical liberal. Everybody says all liberals. They're all, well, you tell me that about, I'll tell you why I know that's untrue. Tim Pool and Dave Rubin, both of them, should never have voted for Trump. Guess what they did? And there's not just them. That's why none of this makes sense. Your thoughts, brother?
Oh, well, I don't know much about the group or the other gentleman you just said. But I think they're leftist, right? So more liberal kind of.
Oh yeah. Tim Pool was an Occupy Wall Street kind of guy, but he also fairly covered Occupy Wall Street, and he's been vilified as being a right winger, right? A leftist, a classical liberal. Classical liberal Jeffersonianly is nothing more than somebody who looks at everything dispassionately. Just like I'm not right or left. A lot of people say I'm right wing. Look, if I'm right wing, I'm just to the right of Genghis Khan. Um, that's reality because of how I make my living, and I only use that tongue firmly in cheek. And then you have Dave Rubin. He's married to another man. He was on the Young Turks, and he actually was on there, and yet he is. If you go back, it's the dark web, is what they call it. But the dark web is silly in a lot of ways, just like the Dark Enlightenment with Mencius Moldbug, who founded it. So, what are you going to do? Become a neo-reactionist? Which is, honestly, I would put that in the same rating as a neo-prog or a neo-con. Because in the end, it's just a different type of war. It's a war in your own home state. Your thoughts?
Yeah, be like federations are good. Like be kinda look for your region that you have like-minded people around you, and live in an area where you feel safe, because it's not gonna get easier the next couple of months. It's gonna get rough, and I I strongly believe you should have people around you who supports you, and and you support them, and together we are stronger, and that's what I believe.
I agree with you wholeheartedly, and it's not going to be as you're seeing right now. This outside of the Hotel Estate off Potsdamer Platz and Berlin, and you're seeing a winter time scene, and it's a bright winter day with lots of snow. This is not going to be a dark winter. Don't allow it to be. Be positive. Realize that it's going to be a cold winter. Whatevs. You know what? We've lived through them before. And we'll live through them again. This is not a pessimistic show. This is trying to let you look at things and always remember, it's always brightest before the dawn. When you see the stars in the sky, the clouds may obscure them, but you'll still see the clouds lit up. It's always find the positive shit, because too many people want to sell you on the negative, and I'm not going to do that on my show. I'm not even going to start that, because trust me, I can sink your ship with the negative if I wanted to. But I'm not worried. At this point, I'm not worried. What about you, Kimmy? Are you worried?
Concerned.
Concerned is fine, but worried.
For me personally, I see the difficulty not not in the situation that comes. It's more like a side effect, basically, if they start to if it mandatory, VAXU, and and if it's gonna be mandatory and then you can't buy food or sell or something like that, these are my concerns right now. Where can I go what can I order, how to have to prepare for what is to come. Do I need a diesel energy generator? Do I need a water filtration system? Do I prepare? What do I prepare? And so on, so on. All these things are in my mind right now.
That's very fair play. What I'll say is yes, yes, and yes. Um, Here's how I look at it as an opportunity. Uh, and you don't have to agree with me or even want to do this, but I look at it like this. When they banned booze back in the 20s in the US, okay? You had the Kennedys. That's where Joseph Kennedy made his money. Where Robert and his other son, JFK, were able to go to Harvard and Yale, okay? This is the reality of it, okay? And I look at it as an opportunity. This is a time to make another mafia. Tongue firmly in cheek. But yeah, I've been stabbed with the vaccine since the Gulf War, hence COPD, and every war since then, which makes me laugh. I don't really care. So what? If we're gonna have the idiots demand people have a vaccination certificate, I'll get one, and I'm sure I could find lots of other people to get them. And then I'll just be buying the tickets from Ticketmaster, honestly, and I'll just sell them at a premium to people I don't know. And maybe I'll make my own little mafia out of that. It's not out of alcohol, it's about tickets. Maybe I'll start scalping tickets. Maybe I'll find other ways to make money. And, this is my thought, or have other people working for me that are willing to get vaxxed. And that's my opinion on that. Because I don't look at this as a negative in some ways. I look at it as a freedom thing. If people don't want to get vaxxed, that's okay. Don't get vaxxed. Let others get vaxxed and work them. And of course, if it's friends or brothers or sisters, you're not going to charge them the premium. You're just going to go shop for them, do whatevs, But this is a time to build a mafia, and build your family tighter. And that's my opinion on this, because that's how the Kennedys did it. And look, everybody always talks about the Kennedys. Well, hey, Democrats, you're about to make new Kennedys. God bless you, because you're fucking morons. And everything you're trying to push, but I honestly don't think Biden's going to get in. So I'm fairly confident in that, in stating that remark. If I'm wrong, I'll be the first one to say I was wrong. But at this point, with the fuckery afoot and this last silliness, we called it an election. I'm not worried. Your thoughts?
I think I'm almost sure, not because I'm such a genius, because others said before the whole election and had all the information that this is rigged, and at the end Trump will win through the Supreme Court because all of the fraud, and they just they just portray that they won just to get more chaos and more destruction. But in the end of the day, Trump will win, and we hope we have another couple of years where we can survive. But what will come and what challenges awaits us, I can't tell right now. We have to see in January, but I'm certain that Trump will win because he did.
Yep, and there'll be much fuckery afoot until then. And even after then. Honestly, you think you've seen the end of this? The communists are on the march. Just be with a joyful heart. Realize the reality of it. Those that thought they were voting themselves out of it, even if the left wins under Biden, he's a weak horse. The left will go insane. You think you've seen something so far. No, you haven't. You haven't seen shit. You ain't seen nothing yet. Bum, bum. Oh, baby, you just ain't seen nothing yet. As I said to the FBI when they were talking with me, I said, boys, you don't need to worry about this. You need to worry about Antifa. And I also said in my state, and named the congresswoman, and I'm not going to do it here because that's doxing. I said ARA, anti-racist action. Who wouldn't want to support that? I know you and I would. We're not racist. But the funny thing is, anti-racist action, here's the funny part about it, is like the Sean Finn to the IRA. And most people have never heard me say this, but the FBI did. And I said, that's who you need to look out for. I said that in 2018. I look like a prophet. No, I don't. It's because I know their mental attitude, and I know what they were being weaponized for. From Mr. Projection, remember community organizer? I don't even like saying his name, even though on my old blog I gave him a shot when he first got elected. I thought he would unite. No, he divided. Even worse than Bush Sr., even worse than Clinton, and even worse than W. He divided this nation. And he needs to be held to account as well as the Clintons. Because, and Bush, both Bushes, by the way, Bush Sr.'s dead now. But yeah, the division bell was rung. And that's, look, you can't divide a solid nation. But unfortunately, we've had presidents that did divide this nation. And it was done with purpose. It was purpose built, in my opinion. I could be totally fucked up and wrong, and that's okay. But I'm not gonna say that I ever I was a true believer at one point, but nah. I'm not going to say I disavow anything I just said. I'll tell you the truth. I think this nation was divided with purpose and intent. And there's no nickels different between the neo-progs, neo-progressives, and neo-conservatives. And why don't you close us out, brother?
Yeah, so I would you shouldn't be like for parties. It's not like the left against the right or something like that. It's decent human beings against radical, chaotic terrorists that want to disrupt, destroy, and steal. And we, as such, we should have like as little as government as we can, and as big as a community and a country that stands for its word and lives the truth. So that's my last words here.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Kimmy, for taking the time to stop by Kaiser's Castle. I really mean that, because you're a precious heart and a good man. And thank you all for stopping by Kaiser's Castle. I will slowly raise the drawbridge as you meander out with your whatever remnants of your coffee, tea, soda, or adult libation of Kaiser's Castle. And with that being said, shuff out.